Invasive or introduced species are species that are non-native to an area. These are most often brought to an area by humans, but can have other biogenic vectors that bring them to an area. Invasive species tend to be rapidly reproducing, they tend to grow very quickly, and they can adapt to a wide range of environmental conditions. They're environmental opportunists in that they exploit the resources of their environments and can thus survive by making use of whatever resources are available to them. One such example of an invasive species here in the United States is the zebra mussel. Zebra mussels were originally native to the freshwater lakes of southern Russia, but were first introduced to North America in 1988 through ballast water of ships that had traveled the Atlantic. Zebra mussels, like other invasive species, have had more than just environmental impact. Over the last 30 years, or nearly 30 years rather, they've had great economic impact as states try to mitigate the damage done to waterways by their rapid population growth. This mitigation has a great price tag and is estimated to have cost states in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Also, it should be noted that invasive species thrive for several reasons, two of which are that they have no natural predators or parasites in areas they're introduced to, and that they might also have a novel adaptation or feature that allows them to survive. In ecological succession, one ecological community is being replaced by another over time. Species that appear in the community appear in sequential order. And there are two types of succession you need to be familiar with: primary succession and secondary succession. Let's discuss primary succession first. Primary succession occurs when a previously uninhabited area becomes colonized by an ecological community. The first organisms to inhabit the new community are referred to as pioneer species. Why? Because they're first. These are usually organisms like lichens, which can break down rocks to enrich the soil, mosses, and small grasses. Gradually, small shrubs and trees will move in, and our selected species, such as mice and some birds, will move in as first. The species diversity of a newly established community is very great, but as competition increases, the species diversity may decrease. Larger animals, K-selected species, like larger mammals, will move in over time as food sources and shelter availability increases. When that ecosystem has reached a state of equilibrium, it is said to have become a climax community. Climax communities tend to be very mature communities. Finally, there's secondary succession. Secondary succession occurs in an ecological community after a natural disaster, such as a forest fire, a flood, a hurricane, a tsunami. Human activity can also cause secondary succession in ecological communities, such as in areas where farming or logging takes place. Secondary succession generally happens much faster than primary succession because soil is already in place, so soil doesn't have to be made. And some of the original species may still be around after the destructive event, so these species can repopulate the area quickly. For example, in an area that's been destroyed by a forest fire, secondary succession takes place very rapidly because the soil has been enriched by the burning of organic material that enriches that soil and makes it more fertile for new organisms to grow, new plants to grow.
Now that we've learned about biodiversity in communities and how that biodiversity can serve as an ecosystem health indicator, we're going to take what we've learned about both populations and communities and apply that knowledge to the study of ecosystems as a whole. So if you're ready to learn about ecosystems, let's get started.